Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League. I'm your best friend, Gallium, and today we have a postseason banger coming your way to end off the night. Challenger League, it's Orbit taking on Motion. A very high, intense game, and I'm here with Ventus. How are you doing today?
I am super excited. I got to cast a great Titan League match earlier today, and now I get to round things off with the Challenger League. Couldn't ask for a much better series, especially because I got to see Motion towards the very end of the regular season and got to see what they were made of. So, kind of see what things they changed, what things they improved on, and I'm just ready for a good time.
You know what? Fair enough, Ventus. I'm ready for a good time too. So, if these players can join up in the lobby, that would be phenomenal because I want to get this started as soon as possible because this is a 9 seed versus 10 seed matchup in Challenger. But my main thing that I'm looking at is the fact that it is such an intense, it's going to be a very good matchup because both of these teams got good late, because Orbit, for one, they started off on the back foot of they started off, I want to say, like 5-0, and then they had a little bit of a slide going on. So they finally recovered, and they're doing much better now. But Motion is quite the opposite. They had not the best start to the season, and they ended off on very negative, or sorry, they ended off on a very positive foot. So, we'll see if Orbit can't ruin Motion's late season heroics here, as we have Madius, Fatality, and Aqua for Motion, and we have bowsie, Squirrel, and Critter for Orbit. So it should be a good one, but so far, looks like these guys are just banging the ball around. We got Aqua. He's going to try to take it into his own corner. Gets a free touch, but Critter going to be there to block it almost immediately. Fatality might have an opportunity here. Fatality, one of the best shooters in Chally. Probably, honestly, one of the best shooters I've ever seen. Don't tell him I said that, but Madius Maximus is up with the ball off the backboard. Fatality with the shot, and, case point proven. There we go, Ventus.
Yeah, already we just see so much pressure coming out, and a good beat from Fatality, super awkward play from the Orbit squad, and you talked about Orbit kind of losing their footing for a while there after going 5-0, and they did their best to recover, but they could only recover so much. They are currently in that 9 seed, and they left a lot to be desired for in the regular season. We knew this team was going to be good with Critter, bowsie, and Squirrel, but they just have not lived up to it. At least for me so far, this squad on paper looks absolutely disgusting, but they just, at least right now, they haven't seemed to figure it out.
Yeah, they've gotten off to a very slow start, but I've seen Squirrel do some insane things in the playoffs. I know Bowsy has had his struggles in the first round of the playoffs. I guess this isn't the playoffs, but postseason in general, he's had a little bit of some struggles. And Critter kind of having not the best second half of the season. So hopefully those guys can bounce back. It seems like Motion just has all the motion going right now. As Critter and Aqua going to take a 50. Madius is up with the ball, rocking the Octane today. Going to send it over into the corner. Madius, a late season pickup for Motion, easily one of the best pickups in Challenger. They got him for pretty much dirt cheap, and he's been excellent for them in this Motion squad. Definitely a very tough team to play in the plans, and Orbit is the unfortunate team to be playing them right now. We'll see if they can't turn it around as Critter sends it to the sidewall. Fatality going to send it down. Madius gets a touch back out to the mid. Fatality unable to take a shot. Now Critter jumping away from his teammate, trying to avoid a bump. Aqua sends it high, and that's a double commit with Aqua and Madius both double committing. Critter takes the ball up in the air. Fatality going to get a nice touch. Fatality going to get it to the backboard. Bowsy is up with it, and Bowsy might have just put it in his own net. Oh my goodness.
It seems like Orbit is honestly just playing too fast for their own selves. Bowsy got up very quick to that one, but just not the correct read off the corner. You got to wait a little bit longer to make sure you understand where the ball is actually going to avoid putting in your own net. But we've seen a couple of those plays. We saw Critter going off the sidewall trying to get a pass out into the midfield. Ends up kind of putting it back towards his own net as last man, and Motion was able to capitalize with another free goal. So it just seems like Orbit, their touches aren't the best, but they're trying to play so fast, and they just aren't really prepared for it. And we see Motion just being able to capitalize on all those mistakes that are being made.
Yeah, 100%. And in my bracket, I have Motion winning it all. I know they're a playing team, but I mean, can you call me crazy after seeing what you're seeing right now? I mean, these guys are absolutely gross. I faced them towards the end of the season, and it was not a pleasant experience. Got swept, but, you know, that's unfortunate. Critter missing the ball. bowsie going to get a nice 50. Aqua sends it over to Mattias. Mattias with a lot of boost and free airspace, except for Squirrel, who gets up there relatively quickly. Aqua going to 50 it out with Critter, and now the ball is in the midfield. Critter going to miss his touch. Now Critter gets the ball off the ceiling. Fatality with an insane pinch into the orbit corner. Mattias takes a touch. This might be on target, but bowsie is going to save it away. Some great defense towards the end. Would have loved to see a little bit more offense coming out from this orbit team. They've failed to really do a whole lot in this motion end, and honestly, Ventus, it's kind of cost them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for Critter really to kind of get those demos. He got one earlier and it almost led to a goal there, but I mean, he's averaging the second most demos per game in Challenger League, and he's overall the #1 demoer, even ahead of Rockerman. And so, you know, that's a guy who demos a lot of the time. So I'm looking for him to kind of catch that third man in rotation, allow just some pop shots on net to go in. And, you know, Squirrel's the #1 player rated in the entirety of Challenger League, and we have not really seen much come out from him, as it seems like Mattias is just all over them. A good 50, a good beat on by Fatality, and then Mattias able to just clean it up. 1, 2, 3. Motion is just outspeeding, outpacing Orbit, and you know, right now Orbit really don't have a response, but I'm looking for those two players specifically to step up because I know they're both longtime veterans. They've had the stream experience. They've been in grand finals before. I think even Squirrel has won, or Critter has won a grand finals as well. Like, they are champions. So you're really looking for them to kind of be that veteran presence and step up and kind of not let the nerves get to them. And, you know, so far it hasn't really worked out for them.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely, they're off to a slow start, but, you know, I witnessed, I believe they played the Raptors early on in the stream game, and I think they went down, and they immediately came back and won the series. So, you know, they have that in them. They have potential to be great. As the clock winds on down, this one basically formality at this point, but Squirrel's going to get himself a goal. Late goal. Not really going to matter, but, you know, nice for the stats.
You know, it's the momentum swing, you know. Motion is part of the momentum org, I believe, and maybe they're just allowing Orbit a little bit more momentum to kind of put up a better fight, because they were pretty much getting dominated the entire game, and you know, the one kind of goal isn't going to do much for Orbit's squad. It'll help them reset their mental, and they understand, like, this is only game one. We can get this into a long series, but you know, it's always nice to win the first game. You never are on the back foot. You can have more confidence. You can go for more aggressive challenges without really having to worry about if you get punished. And so the Orbit, you know, they got to turn some stuff around, but I think they definitely have the ability to. But Motion is playing just absolutely fantastic, and Fatality is the real driver behind it. He's kind of outpacing basically everybody on the Orbit squad, and they just have like no chance to even contest. And Aqua, I played him, and he subbed up in Titan, and he hit a double reset on me. So this guy is kind of nasty, and you know, we'll see if he pulls out the max for us, but he hasn't really needed to, because they're just outspeeding Orbit, and they haven't really had to rely on anything else.
Yeah, you know, it's just, they outplayed him pretty much every stat, if we're going to be completely honest. But, you know, you were mentioning Aqua. He was actually in Prospect last season. He was on Velocity, so Jax got to re-sign him, and what a player he's been on this this Motion team. Unfortunately, didn't get the result he wanted last season. Hopefully, he gets the chance to win a championship this time around. I certainly have faith in him. We'll see how this one goes, though. Orbit, not a team to count out, especially since, you know, they have the GM playing for them. Definitely not wanting to lose, especially considering how amazing of a start they had to the season. You know, I don't know if anyone really knows what went wrong towards the second half, but these three players are all very great. I am sure they'll figure it out this series, and let's just hope it's sooner rather than later here. Squirrel takes a touch. Fatality gonna shoot it right back down into the Orbit end. bowsie gets a touch. It's up high. Mattias gonna reach and get that one. He gets a single touch, almost gets a dunk. Now Fatality with a touch. bowsie On zero boost, gets a great 50. Aqua sends it back into the zone. Mattias on the backboard. Fatality's there. He can't quite find the shot. Very close opportunity there. Ball still dangerous and in the orbit end. Critter has a little bit of time. The ball just slips over him. Fatality's up with bowsie. Fatality gets a nice 50. Mattias, he's going to be there. Tries to get off the backboard. And oh my goodness, if he hit that shot, that would have been a legendary shot for sure as Fatality. Going to try to beat Squirrel off the wall, but that's not going to happen. Squirrel has a shot. Critter trying to maybe go for a demo there. Unsuccessful, but there's like no one in the net right now. Orbit just all circling like sharks in their own net. Mattias sent it to the sidewall. bowsie going to get a touch. Now Fatality. He's a little slow to the ball, but he ends up getting there regardless. Mattias off the backboard. Critter sends it down. What a beautiful clear from Critter, but fortunately no one there to really be there for this Orbit squad. And, you know, we've played about a minute 30. And I would say, I mean, the fact that Orbit hasn't conceded a goal, it has to mean something, Ventus.
We'll see. We'll see. They're doing a lot better about playing in the midfield, and their defense has definitely cleaned it up. But they're still making the same mistakes. And bowsie in particular, I feel like, is just trying to play way too fast. I saw him already a couple times in this game. He's tried to go up for a read off the sidewall and just completely missed it because he was just trying to play and beat everybody to the ball. And it's really been detrimental as another mistouch comes out from Squirrel. Then the shot coming through from Mattias, he's going to put that one home in it. I mean, who else but then the guy who I was talking about, bowsie. Not that I'm trying to dog on him too much, but the bump by Aqua definitely did not help his case.
Yeah, you know, Aqua, he gets down and dirty, especially in the defensive end. I played against him in the playoffs last season. He definitely was a player to look out for in that regard, but also a very talented player. But I can appreciate players who have a lot of mechanical talent, but are also smart enough to know their role and know where they're needed. And Aqua is just one of those players who is selfless, and he'll do anything it takes to win, especially just adapting to his teammates. I know Fatality is probably one of the biggest second men in terms of just staying in the midfield and shooting. I know Mattias likes to chase the ball a little bit, and he's great at it, but you know, Aqua was needed at that third man position, and he's just delivered so far. We'll see if that continues. As Fatality going to get a nice 50 into the ground. Critter sends it over. Mattias going to get a touch. Mattias going to get a 50. It's popped up high. Critter tries to send it down, but Fatality's going to be there to reach it. Mattias tries to receive the pass, but he's going to be able to get it on the wall instead. Gets a single touch. It's not really going to do a whole lot. Aqua trying to collect this ball, but bowsie, he gets a nice pass. Squirrel, he's going to have to shoot this. Oh my goodness, that barely went off the net. Beautiful save from this motion team. And Aqua, he's bumping bowsie, but not enough to bump him off the ball. Squirrel just waiting there, and he's going to be punished as Mattias has probably put in like his 5th goal of the series.
Yeah, and once again, bowsie and Squirrel both being super awkward. bowsie, not a great touch. Fatality was all over that one, and Squirrel 0 boost. Just kind of waiting a little bit too long to make a play. Gets beat out. The shot goes in. Motion still just outspeeding, out-pressuring their opponents of Orbit. And it's really, honest. It's just clinical at this point, I guess, is Mattias just seems to be faster than every single person on the pitch, and you talked about him ball chasing a little bit, but if it works and he gets so many beats, doesn't matter, especially when he's able to cut back into the midfield and get a pass like that as well when he wants to. You know, I might be glazing him a little bit right now, but man, from what I've seen so far, he's definitely the player to look out for this motion squad.
Oh, I think the glaze is totally warranted. I mean, he's been having himself an incredible series, and that pass was ridiculous. You know, unfortunately, his teammate couldn't have been there to get it, but you know, over a little over a minute remaining in this game too. Orbit has yet to score a meaningful goal in this series because they got one late in game 1. We'll see if they can't get a goal here to cut the lead down to 1 for this motion team. The ball's popped in the air. Fatality tries to reach it, but is unable to. bowsie sends a touch. It's off the corner of the ceiling. Squirrel, a little awkward here. He gets a single touch, but Aqua just there immediately. Fatality just puts it under, and that's a high-level play from Fatality. He's new to Nemesis, but he's not new to shooting the ball on net.
Great play. He sees the pre-jump come in through from Critter. He puts it low and away. It goes off the post, and he's able to follow it up. Maybe a little bit lucky of a post bounce where it goes towards the position of his car path. And, I mean, either way, it's still a great shot, good follow-up from himself, and a good pass there from Aqua to get the beat in the and put it to the backboard to allow that follow-up to even come through. And once again, it just seems like Orbit have no answer. They're getting constantly beat out, and when they do get beats, their touches just aren't good enough. They haven't really impressed me much in this series, and it's crazy because I love all these guys. I love Critter, bowsie, and Squirrel, but it just seems like they're all missing something. I don't think this is their day, and that can't happen when it comes playing time. This is a do or die game, especially because they're not the 7 or 8 seed having that extra life in the play-in bracket. They are just once again kind of stuck in limbo, and they get an extra, 1 goal for the road. It's what happened last game as well. But it really doesn't matter much. It hasn't affected Motion, and it hasn't really jolted Orbit into succeeding.
No, it unfortunately has not for them, but I will say for this Motion team, they've been incredible all series long. I really can't harp on it enough. I feel like we've harped on it a while, but there's not really much to say about Orbit. They're just getting beat to every ball. It seems like they're losing every 50, and when the ball is in their end, they're all on low boost, just grasping at straws, trying to save it. So I'm just seeing a lot of mistakes coming out from Orbit on the defensive end, allowing Motion to get these opportunities to score. But Motion, all credit to them, they've really capitalized on these opportunities. And I mean, a big reason for that has been Fatality. I think just having that guy in the middle of the field, always threatening for a shot, is something that I don't think any team wants to see. I mean, as a reminder, a play-in team won Chally last season, so Motion definitely could be that team that could make a deep run if they can beat this Orbit team. Orbit gonna have to reverse sweep here. I'm not sure if they have the facilities for that, but we'll see if they can't try their best here, Ventus.
Hey, that's what I'm hoping for. I love Game 5s, especially Game 5 overtimes, and I'm about to steal a message from the chat. You just gotta tell Orbit that it's just garbage time for the next 3 games, and that they will lock in. They were able to score in garbage time the last 2 games, so maybe that's the jolt that they need to succeed, and maybe not taking it as seriously and kind of just saying like, it's a game, and kind of playing it a little bit more lackadaisical. Shout out that word. Might allow them to kind of propel themselves to more dangerous things, as that's a great shot there by bowsie. Finally, a meaningful goal on the board, and a great touch to beat out that defender. Gets the flip around the ball, gets the beat on that last man. Beautiful play coming from Orbit.
There is always an opportune time to come alive in a series, and this is probably the best time, if ever, to come alive in a series. What a play from bowsie. I mean, he just really had his way with the defense there, and I mean, it was an incredible shot, but Fatality gonna shoot it, and bowsie getting a save. What a nice save coming out from bowsie. Now it's Aqua off the sidewall. Squirrel has no boost, but they don't know that, but it's unfortunately for them gonna sail into the back of the net. That's what I've been talking about. 0 boost pretty much across the board for these Orbit players, and Mattias Maximus is pretty much gonna put this in 24/7.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a great shot. You cannot deny that pop there by Mattias on the skim. It was so good. He was able to read the follow-up touch from Aqua perfectly. He was able to get a great shot on net. There were 2 defenders there either way, and they could not even make a play on it. Good beat on Squirrel, but yeah, you talked about the being boost starved, and that's what happens. You have Mattias challenging and cutting so frequently that they're able to save a lot of boost from the side of Motion, and they're able to steal a lot of boost on the side of Orbit, especially when these bumps and demos come through. Crucially, on that last man back of the player who just got boosted. Great read there from Mattias with low boost, keeping that one from a dangerous pass into the midfield. But a little bit of a dangerous play, as he was kind of cut off his teammate. Maybe I take back a little bit of the glaze that I've been giving him. But he's been really good, and you can't deny that shot was really good. And I mean, unfortunately for Orbit, they just have not been able to figure out anything. As a double backflip, feels bad, comes through, and that's gonna ruin all momentum that they had.
Yeah, it seems as though Motion just haven't really missed a step. I mean, obviously bowsie had that really nice goal early on, but this Motion team is just keeping on pounding. I mean, I feel like every shot they've had has just been an absolute banger. Just an absolute, like, hey, you have to have at least half a tank of boost to get up and make a save, you know, and that's the kind of shooting that you want, right? You don't see that a whole lot in most of these teams, you know, in all leagues, right? It's hard to consistently get shots on net, especially if, you know, your first man and even your third man rotating out aren't giving you the opportunities. Oh my goodness, what a pass, but bowsie, he puts it wide, and that one just hurts.
Yeah, I mean, when you have an open net like that, some say it's the hardest shot in all of Rocket League to score. Um, I don't know if I'll agree with the masses, but it looks like Squirrel almost looking to own goal. That is going to get bumped off. This might be an open net. What a fake. Is he going to get the follow-up? I was really hoping he got the double fake or something through them. But, man, Motion has just not really let up. And the Orbit finally had a good chance to put one in the net. And when you aren't able to convert that into a goal, it's really detrimental because now you're upset at yourself. Bowsie's probably pissed because he hasn't been playing great this series, and then he turns around and is not able to put that open net on target. And the mental really takes a toll, especially when you need to reverse sweep. You're already down 2 games and it seems like hope is lost, and it just doesn't help.
Yeah, it's not a position I don't think any of these players wanted to be in, but they're still only down by 1. You know, it's not the end of the world as I say that. Of course, Aqua just puts it perfectly top left where, I mean, that is the only place Squirrel pretty much couldn't get that ball. I know he had no boost, but he was near post. He had the double jump. I mean, Motion is just playing out of their minds right now, if I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really think it's Orbit playing too terribly necessarily. I think they're playing fine. I just think Motion is just that much better, and it's really showing as bowsie sends it up. Aqua gonna send it down, and it's gonna be 50 from him. bowsie back the other way. The defense a little lacking from Motion there, but they slowly recover as Mattias can't find that touch. Fatality is just backwards in his own end, but he's gonna jump off the backboard. Get that touch. bowsie tries to send it under 1. He's gonna be unable to. Squirrel gets the touch. It's off the backboard. Maybe a double. Unfortunately, not able to. And it's Mattias versus bowsie. The 2 highest Sals. Can he get it past him? bowsie, great save. But Fatality's right there. And it was almost another perfect shot. But again, it goes off. Wait, this might be a perfect shot. But Mattias, of course, there for the save. Great defense on both ends. But, I mean, I don't think Orbit really needs defense right now. They need some offense because, I feel like all of their goals have just been solo plays. It hasn't really been too much of a team effort. Hopefully that changes though, as we have a minute or a little less than a minute remaining in this game 3. Will Orbit go out in 3, or will they take a game to potentially reverse sweep here? It's looking like the former, as we see Squirrel sending it down the field. Bowsie's going to get a touch, maybe a shot, is unable to connect, and Fatality pops it all the way down the field. Squirrel has no boost, and Fatality is pretty much going to put this game on ice. And it seems as though Motion are moving on to the next round.
This is a crazy team comp, right? I'm going to compare this Motion team to the Gravelords of Rival, which is crazy praise because Gravelords are currently undefeated going in as the 1 seed. Motion just looks so much faster than every other team. It reminds me of how Gravelords, they don't necessarily have to do anything special. We haven't seen any crazy mechanical plays come out from any of these players, but they just constantly beat everybody to the ball. There is no chance for any team to have any time or space. This team is constantly cutting in the midfield. They're constantly taking boost and securing possession in the midfield, and it just reminds me so much of Gravelords, and that's why I kind of like your prediction that Motion could come out and take the entire thing, and it looks like by grace. Oh, I was gonna say Orbit gonna get the consolation goal once again, but off the post and down, not going to do so. But this Motion team, if I had to pick one team right now without seeing any of the other playoff games, I would say Motion has the best chance to be a dark horse and upset everybody.
I mean, they call me ball knower galleon for a reason. Okay, I got a lot of hate for picking Motion as my champions. Okay, I'll remember whoever said that. Okay, but you just saw this playing game, and Motion absolutely decimated Orbit, and now Motion gets to play in the next round of the plans. They're not in the playoffs quite yet, but they will be playing on Saturday, I believe. So look out for that. But I mean, this game, although It was a sweep. It was still very eventful. A lot of great goals, honestly, both sides, but still a great series overall. And, I think we all got our money's worth here, Ventus.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see some great gameplay from, I mean, particularly Motion. I think that they just absolutely picked apart this Orbit squad. And I didn't think Orbit was anything to scoff at. I thought they weren't playing bad. It just seemed like it was a team diff, which it sucks to say because I love the Orbit boys. But man, Motion looked prepared to make a deep run in the playoffs, unless I'm jinxing them now, which you never know. Caster Curse is a thing.
Yeah, we tend to get a lot of caster curses here, but if we can pull up the season 13 Challenger League bracket real quick, if not, I can just tell you what's going to happen here. So Flame lost on Monday. They lost 3-2 in a game 5. Very good game, by the way, if you haven't seen it already. They will be the 7th seed playing Motion for the opportunity to play Dissolved in the first round of the playoffs. Dissolved, obviously, as the number 1 seed. They've been dominant all season long. And I think Motion is the team that can beat Dissolved. It's not even crazy to say that. It doesn't seem that crazy, Ventus.
You know, it's not outlandish. It might be a little too soon to tell. I think Dissolved is still the favorite going into this. I mean, you have like the best player or most mechanical player in the Challenger League in Nerfbot. Shout out MKG. And Mobamba, who's a very solid player. I think that Dissolved is still my favorite. Motion would probably be my number 2. You might see a crazy quality series in the first round. If Motion are able to beat Flame and they go up against Dissolved, I could see this being basically the grand finals match. Whoever wins that series will probably win the entire Challenger League, which, that's a crazy statement.
It's not crazy to say that, but I like where your head's at, Ventus. But that's gonna do it for us tonight. We appreciate all of you for coming out, and I appreciate my buddy Ventus for being in the booth with me.
Oh, real quick, we want to thank our premium subscribers, especially our Challenger and Titan, Challenger Crotera, Earn, Flame Intruder, Neons, Wiggle, and our Titan Fenrir, Jax, Parker, and Sato. Also, big shout out to Jaxoy, big Jax guy, shouting out for the 10 gifted subs to the Nemesis community. Uh, absolutely beautiful behavior coming out from the boy, especially because I believe his team just won. So W
Yeah.
Jax. But yeah, thank you guys for all of what you do, especially behind the scenes. It helps so much for us, bringing you the best quality content we can and just wanting to deliver a great playoffs.
Yeah, I think we will deliver a great playoffs. And shout out to Rockerman for streaming all this. But I think we'll relinquish him of his duties here. But we will be back Saturday night for some more Rocket League. Make sure to stay tuned and stay glued to your screens because it's going to be one heck of a play-in finale. See you guys later. Peace out.